Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Berry Robinson and friends. Seen on the internet 24 hours, 7 days a week. To view us on the internet, simply go to and type in and type in capital letters RBRIMO to view our shows and our catalog of shows. You can also view the In My Opinion Show on Flint Comcast Cable Channel 17 every Saturday at 6 and every Wednesday at 8:30. You can also view the In My Opinion Show on Detroit, Michigan Comcast Cable Channel 68, 7 days a week. I want to welcome this great panel that we have assembled here. We have Miss Denise Smith-Allen.
Hi, Ronald. Hi.
Hi. We have Miss Jackie Williams.
Hi, Ronald. Hi, everyone.
And we have Mr. Henry Hatter.
Hi, Ron and Jackie and Miss Denise. And congratulations on your daughter, granddaughter being graduating from Howard University, one of the best universities in the whole country.
Thank you.
And you also, Jackie, for your daughter.
My son.
Your son graduating from college. What great legacies we're creating here on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And congratulations. My congratulations goes out to everybody too, and you especially, our millions of viewers worldwide. Let's talk about SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States. Affirmative action ban dashes hopes of black minority students. The conservative majority of the Supreme Court of the United States on Tuesday issued a final ban on affirmative action in Michigan in response to a ruling from the U.S. Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals in Cincinnati, which overturned the ballot initiative, Michigan Civil Rights Initiative, otherwise known as Proposal 2, that banned affirmative action in the state. The court basically upheld the ban in Michigan. In 2006, the ballot question banning affirmative action passed by a margin of 58 to 42, noting that the University of Michigan, Michigan State University, Wayne State University, and any other public college or university shall not discriminate against or grant preferential treatment to any individual or groups on the basis of race, sex, color, ethnicity, or national origin in the operation of public employment, public education, or public contracting. The majority opinion written by Justice Anthony Kennedy argued that the case challenging affirmative action was not about race admissions, but rather a question of whether voters have the ability to ban race preferences. Concurring with Kennedy were Chief Justices Roberts, Scalia, Thomas, and Breyer. Justice Elena Kagan recused herself from the case. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, the first Hispanic on the highest court, joined by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, wrote a powerful dissenting opinion underscoring the history that informs minority participants in the political process and the constitutional guarantees that come with it. While our Constitution does not guarantee minority groups victory in the political process, it does guarantee them meaningful and equal access to the process. It guarantees that the majority may not win by stacking the political process against minority groups, permanently forcing the minority alone to surmount unique obstacles in pursuit of its goals. Here, educational diversity that cannot reasonably be accomplished through race-neutral measures, she wrote. U.S. Congressman John Conyers, Jr., from Detroit, the highest-ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, issued a statement in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court decisions upholding the ban on affirmative action. He says the decision continues a troubling line of recent Supreme Court decisions that are hostile towards our history of civil rights and our struggle for equality. It is unfortunate that this court allowed Proposal 2 to overrun the intent of the Constitution's equal protection clauses, protecting disadvantaged minorities from discrimination, Conyers said. The blatant unfairness of this approach was highlighted by the Sixth Circuit in their opinion, striking down Proposal 2, stating that while sons and daughters of alumni and children of big donors are afforded those non-merit considerations, in the admission process. Proposal 2 would require a minority student to convince the Michigan electorate to amend its constitution in an extraordinarily expensive process and the most arduous of all of the possible channels for change. Conyers quoted Justice Sotomayor saying, "The Constitution does not protect racial minorities from political defeat, but rather does it give the majority free rein to erect selective barriers against racial minorities." She wrote, "The political process doctrine ensures that the majority, when it wins, does so without rigging the rules of the game to ensure its process." Well, I have to agree with both of them. Okay, I think the citizens of Michigan was duped with this idiot from California, Ward Connolly. Okay, he brought this lie to the citizens. It was called the Michigan Civil Rights Initiative. Okay, the wording on the ballot had voters thinking it was a good thing, but the reality, this initiative was horrible for colleges in Michigan. Now that the damage has been done, this Uncle Tom Ward Connolly has faded into obscurity. What's your thoughts, Denise?
Wow. Well, you've shared a lot of information, but when I heard the ruling, unfortunately, I was not surprised that the ruling would take the shape that it did, seeing that we are living in such a conservative mindset. And I guess one of the things that troubled me, of course, is being a U of M alumnus, because I feel very saddened that, again, the deck is being stacked against some students that may have had the ability to get in, compared to other students. They may still have fallen short in an area or two, and maybe the race barrier may have been an issue that could have kind of leveled the playing field. And I think it was alluded to in the article about preferential treatment, if you will, that is given to alumni of not just historical colleges, but colleges of the elite. And it's troubling, because again, we're still dealing with a double standard. And if it's going to be a double standard, then it either is going to be all the way across the board, or it's not going to be. And I mean, that's just the way it is. And I was troubled too, because I was looking at some information that I saw from the New York Times, where it talks about, for example, Berkeley. And how the schools that have fared since the affirmative action ban. And looking at Berkeley, for example, 49% of the student college age residents of Hispanics is 49%, and enrollment of freshman Hispanics is down to 11%. Okay, so that's troubling. And the same goes with blacks living in California, going to school. 9% of the state college black residents are available to go to the school, yet only 2% are black freshmen. And it goes on and on all the way through to various other schools. And so there is a situation that I don't think is going to be corrected.
Well, at the University of Michigan, from what I understand, is 4%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Like I said, across the board. As I looked at this document, Texas A&M, University of Texas, Michigan State, all of them. There is just it's a troubling trend, a downward trend of blacks being admitted into these schools, and so. It's just unfortunate. I'm sure others have comments too, so I'm not going to take up any more time with this at this point. But I'm just saying it's a troubling trend.
Henry, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think it's a great thing. I think for the first time African Americans will get a chance to stand up on 2 feet and be counted. They don't have to feel as though they're victimized by every nuance that comes across the table. And besides, we have traditional black colleges that are perhaps not doesn't rate with all of the traditional Ivy League colleges, but they're good colleges. They do the basic thing to meet the needs of black young people, and yet they don't have affirmative action. The government gives affirmative action to wealthy, rich, traditional colleges, but none to enable black colleges who struggle year after year just to try to make balance the budget. And yet, that seems to make no difference to traditional advocates for affirmative action. And I think that people who go to black colleges, traditional black colleges, get considered first for jobs in the United States Army, for jobs in industry. I think government and traditional employees try to do their diligence to work with people who come out of traditional black colleges. They may not rise in all of the skill sets with all of the other universities, but there's something to be said about these black colleges because they keep our history, they keep us exposed to our history. They do great things by training our kids and giving them a culture and preserving that culture for the next generation. But yet we don't see that. And yet other cultures do the same thing. It's not that I don't appreciate traditional colleges because I graduated from one. I did not graduate from a black college. But I still think that they serve a great purpose in the nation and in the culture.
Jackie, what's your thoughts? You graduated from a historical black
Alabama
college,
State
right?
University, yes. Well, actually, I thought we were in 2014 when we had choices. So back in the day, we didn't have a lot of choices, but now we have opportunities. So if I decide to go to Alabama State University, that's a choice. But if I decide to go to University of Michigan, that's a choice. So it's nice to have choices. Mm-hmm. Before, we had to do what we had to do. But the difference is, back when, like, I might have been the first person on my mother's side to attend college. So I don't have people that had graduated and were alumni of University of Michigan. So I don't have that admittance. You know, I don't have that in my favor. So I won't get that checked. So that won't be checked on my application. Mm-hmm. So I'll be overlooked for that. So other people that have their parents that are alumnus of Michigan State and University of Michigan, they will have that. So that's not fair because I don't have that leveling tool. It's not that I'm not a good student. What affirmative action said was, I want you to look and make sure you're evaluating all of the students and make sure that it's not just the white students that are coming forth, but it's also some black students because I know there's some intelligent ones. It's not that you're handing me anything because my GPA is speaking for itself. You're not giving me anything. I've already done my work. I did my due diligence. I did that. What I'm saying is that I need to go, and what we have to do is make sure that you're being fair and you're not just getting all your friends in and all their friends and all their nephews in and then I'm being overlooked. That's all that did. It didn't give me any extra scholarship. It didn't do anything extra. It just made sure that you're being fair to me where I'll have a chance to go.
Well, what would you say to a white male who says affirmative action denied me the same opportunity that you say had going to white choices they've given you?
Slavery locked us up.
Slavery's gone. It's been gone.
Slavery may be gone, but white privilege has not gone. White privilege has not gone. And so many times, often, as Jackie alluded to, there were schools that we were not even privileged to go to. Listen.
You have choices now.
You have choices, but I'm talking about in our lifetime. In our lifetime, we saw where people were trying to go to school and
they lost this argument.
No, why would I say that?
What are you saying for the white man?
No, because as far as I'm concerned,
action.
You brought in the idea. We were talking about affirmative action, and then you brought in the whole issue of black schools. To me, this is a whole other discussion.
No, it isn't.
But it may be a part of it.
Why
But
does
it's
affirmative action apply to black schools? The
money is all. Look, you've got 3 arguments going on now.
Okay.
You've got 3, okay? Because if you follow the money, you're going to always see those schools that are the elitist schools are going to have the money. They're going to have the power base, okay? So if you want to level the playing field, that goes back to affirmative action as far as the doling out of budgetary items, such as schools. So, like I said, you kind of clouded this issue. The issue is what happened with the Supreme Court and how it affected these public schools. And right now, it is not faring well for those people who are not those privileged individuals who do not have families who have gone on to the school.
I submit to you that you're privileged. You graduated from the University of Michigan. You can get the same benefits that all other graduates get. Your kids can have opportunities to attend by supplementary funding, as do white privileged people do.
Well, I disagree with that.
Well, anybody who graduates from one of those colleges where you say whites have the affirmative action because they graduated from these colleges and they give the special privileges to their kids and so on and so forth, you're one of those persons that's graduated from one of such colleges.
Listen, let me just share with you today, as I printed this off, okay? Michigan College Admission fights for the fight is over. And again, this is from the Detroit Press. And here was a statement, and I was so disturbed by it, I had to respond. Okay, and this is an individual, I won't call his name, he knows who he is. But it says, basically, he gives his name. He says, sure, let's have a hip-hop dance off to see who gets in. A hip-hop dance to see who gets in school. He's talking about admissions. Okay. My response to him was, I'm an alumnus of U of M, MPA, 3.7 average, and find comments like these racially demeaning but predictable. Hip-hop dance-off? Really?
White kids are as good as
Higher education is supposed to increase our ability to understand both sides of the issue and intelligently engage in discourse. However, my experience continues to confirm that you can't change what's in a person's heart. And that was my response to him. You know, this is the discourse. Now here you have students who are still, these are people who are going to be leaders, but yet they come off with...
It's not a trend, that's an incident.
It is a trend. No, it's a trend. There were other people who were responding. I just happened to respond to that individual. This other person, there were other people who were talking.
There are other people who feel very strongly about affirmative action for black individuals. Many white people feel the same way.
This is who I'm talking about.
But I'm talking about, but you have, just because one or two people feel that way doesn't mean that they all feel the same way.
Well, they wrote some books. It was on The View. They wrote some books. It was 2 people from Harvard that wrote some books because they felt like the, affirmative action had ruined their lives.
Right.
Who wrote those books?
I don't remember who they. I can look it up.
Yeah, but it's something about the bell-shaped curve and all the rest of that. I remember that argument. I remember that.
Because Whoopi Goldberg was talking about it, and what it was saying was that, you know, they were saying that when you make a decision, you might not feel the full effect of the decision until years later. And like those reports were not available right away. That data is steady collecting.
Do you feel that you graduated based on affirmative action, or did you do it on your own? There are 4 of us who are college graduates. Which one of you were affirmative action?
Henry, don't cloud the issue.
I'm not clouding it. I just want to know, and the audience wants to know too. Did we do it on our own, or did we have to?
I think the opportunity to go to schools, as we talked about as far as choice is concerned, was based on affirmative action. The fact that our forefathers fought for civil rights so we can vote, and all of this other stuff that is a part of this whole process that allowed us the ability to have choice. And so basically what the thing is going on now is that the clock is going backwards. They're setting the stage for things to be, because I'm telling you, we have a fearful nation.
Yes,
a very fearful nation because they
do.
understand the demographics are changing. And based on that, they are putting in place laws and everything else to limit access because control wants to maintain control.
That will never happen. By 2050, we'll have the paradigm shift. The African Americans and Hispanics will be the arithmetic and numerical majority of this country. And
But
they
the
will
rules will be
control.
the
Hold it,
rules.
just a minute. They will decide in a democracy. The majority of the people decides what the laws are.
But they have to undo the laws. The laws are in place now.
What we need to do is prepare our kids how to function in that area. And here we're still fighting, wallowing in slavery and stuff like that. Slavery happened a long time ago. We got to change the paradigm set and get our kids ready to rule the world, not to wallow in slavery, subserviency. Sorry, I'm going.
You're gone.
Yeah.
Went. I mean, you can go. I mean, I understand your. Well, no, I don't. But I respect that you have a point. I respect that.
And everybody knows that paradigm shift is coming.
The paradigm shift is coming, but the laws that are in
That's
place
right.
now, if
We got to live right now. We have to live right
You're
now.
living right now.
We're
living better. You're living probably better than 90% of the other people in the United States.
Says who?
You. Look at you. Both of you and your husband work, and you're probably all above $100,000 a year. My gosh.
Yeah,
And you only have to be 100,000 to be in 1%.
This election year, okay.
Gee.
the intelligent discourse that we are having as college graduates, right?
That's right.
Okay, but we can agree to disagree. We can agree because I'm telling you, you better know your history so that you don't repeat your history.
That's right.
Okay? A stroke of a pen could put you right back in chattel slavery. Don't be fooled. No.
Too far back to say
Look. I'm telling you.
When we are in,
we need to look ahead.
others to control.
We need to look ahead, but we also need to.
You're likely to be under somebody's foot.
You need to look ahead, but you also need to know your history. You need to know where you came from, and a lot of people don't. People don't appreciate what the struggle was to get where we're at, and some of us don't even appreciate it as we sit at this table.
There's some things we're dying for. We will never go back, I can tell you that. And we have to look ahead and seize our opportunities that's opening up for us. Not fight against them, but learn how to control, learn how to evaluate and build systems, not tear down systems. The 20th century, 21st century is the century that belongs to a multicultural majority in this country.
Not when you keep getting decisions from the highest
You're
court in
going
the country.
again back.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
going backwards.
Well, yeah.
That's the decisions are going back. The pendulum is going back this way.
But the trends are more favorable to the paradigm shift being favorable to African Americans and minorities.
But what's happening right now is
still want to wallow in
they are putting up barriers. They are creating and making laws. All right, that for the time being are going to be insurmountable for that paradigm shift you talk about in 2050.
But are the laws made by the majority of the people?
Well, shit, you can't prove it by me. Look at here in Michigan, all right?
We want the minority.
All right, we knocked down. The voters knocked down the EMS. I mean, the emergency manager. What does he need to do up in Lansing? All right, no, threw some other shit in the mix. So
the majority of the people in Michigan voted, and they said we don't want it from election
because they were hoodwinked.
Yeah.
By your buddy from California.
You gotta call them stupid to be hoodwinked.
Well,
By changing the language. By changing the language.
So,
a person who read that.
10 million people in Michigan are hoodwinked because they're stupid.
No, you saying that.
No,
No, I'm not saying a person is stupid. No, because of the language. The language.
Right.
When you talk about affirmative action, there's a thought process. That means we're leveling the playing field. We're going to do the right thing. When they put that language together, it didn't mean that. That intent was not there. They wanted to dismantle it instead of affirm it and make it right. No.
The Michigan Civil Rights Initiative. I mean, hey, if I didn't know any better, I may have voted for that foolishness too. Mm-hmm. But once you look at it, all right, and read what it was about, most people just go to the polls to vote.
They just reacted.
Okay?
Sure they did.
And he reacted in the wrong way.
And, well, I don't know.
And the wordsmiths
I would
knew
like
that.
to see, I would
The
like to
wordsmiths
see
knew that.
minorities stand up once and for all without having to wallow a stoop. Or to be given, or to be feel victimized. Everything's victimized.
Black folks aren't asking people to give them something. There's nobody ever given me shit.
I am not victimized.
All right.
I don't want to be seen as victimized.
Everything I've got on my own. All right, went to school. Okay, paid my own way.
Mm-hmm.
That's
all
what I
right?
want to hear.
Okay, but see, the thing is that there's not enough of us in these Ivy League colleges. All right, or whatever colleges, not just black colleges, but University of Michigan and other places. All right, to have that legacy thing. But anyway, this has been a great conversation.
Right?
No,
not at all.
That's a detail.
This is Ronald, Barry Robinson and friends. Until next time, stay focused.